Hello, everybody. Welcome to Profiling Evil Reacts. I'm Mike King, and I wanted to take a few moments and answer some of the questions I've been receiving in email about the Samuel Olson death investigation. Now, as a reminder, Samuel is a little 5-year-old Texas boy who was reported missing on May 27th in the Houston area. I'm calling him a 5-year-old because reports suggest that he probably was murdered just 2 days or more before his 6th birthday. In fact, he should have been celebrating his 6th birthday on May 29th. Instead, searchers from EquiSearch, volunteers from the community, and those that are closest to him spent the day searching for him. Now, before we go on, I hope you'll hit the subscribe button and click the like button. Please ring the bell for those notifications so that you get updates when we release videos like this one. And folks, if you haven't considered joining our channel memberships, would you check them out? So who was Samuel Olson? In looking through social media posts and through interviews with family members by various news sources, he sounded like a normal, cute child. But I think we're learning that his short time in life was far from normal. He was under the supervised care of a grandmother, it appears, and it sounds like that was court-ordered. Now, I'm going to let you dig into the reasons behind all of that, but one thing we do know is that his father had had issues with drug abuse and, of course, some petty crimes. His father's girlfriend, Teresa Ray Balboa, also had a criminal history that includes drug violations, domestic violence attacks, even against the boy's father, and other misdemeanor charges. Now, Sam was last seen alive on April 30th when he left the Holbrook Elementary School, part of the Cypress Fairbanks Independent School District. The last day of school was June 3rd. So it's going to be really interesting to me to see what efforts the school took to check on him during those 27 days between the last day in class and the time in which he was reported missing to police. Now, to give you a sense of this little boy's personality, a boy who loved dinosaurs, he was last seen wearing a gray t-shirt with a red Kool-Aid man on the front of his shirt.
Your news is getting a big bet. For your gentleman, you need to buy it for $100. And then your cartoon is coming on my cartoon station.
He was wearing jean shorts and he had on his favorite Buzz Lightyear tennis shoes. Now, he was wearing 2 mismatched superhero socks. This little kid missing the 2 bottom teeth disappeared. His father, Dalton Olson, called police on May 27th, and he notified them that the child was missing. He indicated that he'd hoped that they could perform a welfare check at the boy's birth mother's Southwest Houston home. He told the police that his girlfriend, Teresa Balboa, told him that his ex-wife, Sarah, and a uniformed police officer came to their home at about 7:30 in the morning, demanding custody of the child. Balboa then told police, "I was going to take Sam to school when his mother showed up with a police officer." Now, she indicates that the alleged officer was in full uniform with a gun, handcuffs, everything. She said, I thought it was a Harris County police officer because on the badge it said Harris County." She continued her story by saying, "I had no choice but to hand him over." Well, police chased this lead. They went to the house, they investigated, and after some time, they got the CCTV camera footage from the apartment complex. There they were able to show that the mother never left the home, nor did she have anyone coming in or out of the home bringing a child or anything else. Police decided that Samuel's biological mother, Sarah, wasn't a suspect in the child's disappearance, and the focus returned back to Teresa Balboa, the boy's father's girlfriend, the person charged with watching him at the time that he disappeared. Now, this red herring cost the investigation critical time. It wasted law enforcement resources that could have better been used to find Samuel more quickly. It also placed an unbelievable strain on Samuel's mother, Sarah, who had to endure the trauma of a police inquiry, the judgment of suspicious neighbors, and most importantly, the reality of having a missing child. Personally, I think this could be considered as additional charges in this case against Teresa Balboa, things such as interfering with a police officer. I dug into the Texas Penal Code and I found that under falsification, Section 37, a false report to a peace officer, it says that a person violates the law if they commit an offense with intent to deceive or knowingly make a false statement that is material to a criminal investigation. Now, I also like the statute's false reporting section that talks about false reports regarding missing children. It says if a person knowingly files a false report of a missing child with any law enforcement officer or agency, or makes a false statement to a law enforcement officer, they've committed a crime. You go on and found another statute that says that it is against the law if you alter, destroy, conceal any record, document, or anything with intent to impair the virility, the legibility, or the availability of evidence in the investigation or official proceeding. Flat out, it's a crime. And then they add, if the thing being concealed is a human corpse, the charge is second-degree felony. Now, 2 days after this child went missing, May 29th, the search for Samuel Olson intensified as the Houston Police Department issued a missing persons child alert. EquiSearch, a nonprofit organization, and people in the community jumped in and they started looking for Samuel. Now, remember, it's the 29th. It's the little boy's birthday.
And happening right now, breaking news, Texas EquiSearch volunteers on Houston's southeast side are looking for a 6-year-old boy. His name is Samuel Olson. We're told he went missing from his home on the southwest side last Thursday. EquiSearch says Samuel was taken by an unknown man, and right now they're looking in an area, as you see here, near the Gulf Freeway and Dixie Farm Road. So far, no word on what led them to this specific area.
And we're going to continue to search until we find him.
What do you think? Where do you think he could be?
Somewhere with not with us. And that's the important thing, is that he is not with us and we need to bring him back to us. So I can't say where he could be, where he might be, because honestly, we don't know. At this point, we don't know. All we can do is keep searching and doing, everything we've been doing, and we're gonna continue to do it.
You think he's definitely alive?
Oh yeah. We just keep picturing him sitting, watching cartoons, waiting for us. Just sitting there waiting for us, and we're gonna get him. We're gonna find him.
Tell me about your relationship. Did he call you mom? Or at least
Super mommy. That was his choice. It wasn't forced. We didn't force him, because I don't want to force that. But he used to call me Super Mommy or Teresa. It was still uncomfortable for him. Because he's little. He's a kid, and he knows who his mom is. His mom is, but he also knows that how much I care about him and everything that I've been doing for him and have done for him. So we're gonna find him. I know we're gonna find him.
My name is Dalton Olson, D-A-L-T-O-N, O-L-S-O-N.
Dalton, this must be some rough times. Can you tell me what it's been like?
I feel like I'm living in a nightmare I can't wake up from. No parent should ever have to feel this. I can't eat, I can't sleep. I'm at a loss for words, man.
I understand. Have the police told you anything or given you any...
We're doing our best right now to get out there and search for him. We're trying to cooperate and give them everything. We've given them everything that we can. Any little information we think is important or even as insignificant as we think it is, we still hand it over. So we're just trying to do everything we can to play our part to help bring my son home safe, because that's all that matters at the end of today is please help me find my son.
What was your son's name?
His name is Samuel Olson. He just turned 6 years old on the 29th. He has a little bit of shaggy hair on top, shorter on the sides.
Yeah. And you said you're gonna be passing out some flyers.
Yes, sir. We're all in the area.
That, yeah.
We've been in the Pasadena, LaPorte area passing out flyers. Right now we're over here on the southwest side of Houston passing out flyers. We're gonna go to the area where he was last seen, and we're gonna pass out flyers. I mean, anywhere we can just hand out anything for somebody if they've seen something. I mean, any little bit of information will help.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
His mother, Sarah, also posted photos on her Facebook page, a birthday cake and balloons, candles, wishing her little boy a happy birthday.
Little Samuel Olson turned 6 years old today, but his family has no idea where he is. Sam went missing on Thursday when he was being looked after by a family member. His grandmother, Tanya Olson, has full custody of Sam, but she says Sam's mother showed up with someone else claiming to be a police officer and took him, though both parents say that he is not with either one of them.
We're not even sure who took him, how happened. We just know that the mother showed up with a police officer, and then we just found out the police officer wasn't real.
Oh, so tough. Sam was last seen on McCovoy Drive in southwest Houston. He's missing 2 bottom teeth and was wearing a gray T-shirt with the Kool-Aid Man on it, jean shorts, and Buzz Lightyear sneakers. Sam also has both of his ears pierced. If you have any information on where he is, call HPD or Texas EquiSearch. Hopefully they find him safe soon.
On June 1st, Houston police held a press briefing on the child's disappearance, and they asked for leads in the case.
Good morning. My name is Heather Morris. I'm the Assistant Chief of the Criminal Investigations Command. But our hearts go out to the family members of Samuel. We are very, very saddened by the events that have brought us here today. It's just an absolute tragic event, and our prayers go out to the family. So we've asked everybody here today to provide information on the investigation of 6-year-old Samuel Olson, who was reported missing to HPD on Thursday, May 27, 2021 at approximately 6 p.m.
It would still take another couple of days until the police discovered Samuel's remains in a hotel room in Jasper, Texas, some 130 miles north of Houston. The tip would come through Crime Stoppers, and it appears that it was made by Balboa's roommate.
Yesterday, investigators were contacted by Jasper Police Department, and they were notified that they had received an anonymous tip from Crime Stoppers that led law enforcement officers to a motel in Jasper, Texas in connection with this investigation. Jasper Police Department officers initiated contact at the motel with Ms. Balboa and eventually discovered the body of a young child. Ms. Balboa was taken into custody. At this time, we believe the child to be Samuel, but we cannot confirm that it is him until the medical examiner makes that determination.
The caller reported that the child was stuffed inside of a plastic container and stored in room 106 of the Best Western Motel in Jasper. It's about a 2-hour drive northeast of Houston. The room had been rented by Teresa Balboa. Well, shortly after the body was recovered, Houston's police chief, Troy Finner, tweeted that he believes Samuel was the victim in the container. This was later confirmed forensically. Teresa Balboa was taken into custody for charges of tampering with evidence, and I suspect more charges that are potentially coming. She was transferred to the Harris County Jail on June 4th, where a judge ruled that probable cause existed and was already found by the judge who signed the arrest warrant. That judge bound Balboa over to the 180th District Court, presided over by Judge Jones. The bond hearing was completed with the judge assigning a $500,000 bond for the release. Now, Balboa, if she could put the bail together, would still be required to wear an ankle bracelet and remain in the home 24 hours a day, with no children under the age of 18 around her. The judge went on to deny the defense request that Balboa be released while awaiting trial. The judge said she has no job, she's unemployed, she has no cash on hand, no money in the bank. Then she talked about the fact that she was already on bond for a family assault violence charge. That's the time she assaulted Samuel's father by choking him. The judge mentioned that Balboa was in the process of fleeing the area when the child's body was discovered. Further evidence that she was a flight risk. Let's watch that hearing.
Her not present, she was arrested pursuant to a warrant for her arrest for the felony offense of tampering with evidence, namely a human corpse. The fact that it's a warrant means that probable cause has already been found by the judge who signed this arrest warrant. Her case has been assigned to the 180th District Court. The judge in that court is Deshaun Jones. Mr. Henderson, did the Public Defender's Office get the opportunity to interview Ms. Balboa?
We did speak to Ms. Balboa, yeah.
Okay, so do you have her consent to represent her at this bond hearing?
We do.
Ms. Keith, what is the state's request with regard to bond?
I'm urging the state's motion requesting a $500,000 bond, and I am opposed to a personal bond. The facts set forth in this warrant are terribly disturbing. Specifically, this 6-year-old complainant's father had reported his son missing after he had been in the custody of this defendant. This defendant was interviewed, told the police that the complainant's biological mother and an unidentified individual that she claimed represented himself as a police officer had taken custody of the complainant from her residence or from a residence in Harris County without consent. An employee from the complainant's school advised that the complainant was last at school on April 30th, 2021, which is when which is a month prior to when this defendant claimed that the complainant's mother had taken non-consensual custody of him. That defendant's statements were refuted by the surveillance footage provided by the complainant's mother, showing her at her own residence at the time the defendant claimed that she had come and taken custody of this complaining witness. The complainant's father told officers that the defendant told him on May 27th that the mother had come and taken custody. All of which was refuted by that surveillance video. Another individual who is this defendant's roommate told officers that he had seen the complainant at a residence on the Gulf Freeway on May 27th, 2021, along with this defendant and this defendant's mother. On May 10th, he stated he was contacted by the defendant who advised him that the complainant was deceased, that he did observe bruising to the complainant's body when he arrived to that address on the Gulf Freeway, and that he and this defendant had placed the complainant's body in a bathtub where it remained for 2 days, that he had purchased duct tape and a plastic tote at a local Walmart on the 13th, which was verified by a receipt that was recovered, and that he and this defendant had wrapped the complainant's body in a plastic sheet, placed it into the tote, and took it to a storage unit located in Webster, Harris County, Texas. On June 1st, the Jasper Police Department received a Crime Stoppers tip about the complainant in this case. They went to a motel located in Jasper County where they found this defendant They found the tote that was described by the witness. They smelled the distinct odor of decomposition, human decomposition, in the motel room. And they did find what they believed to be the complainant's body wrapped in a black plastic bag, which was secured with duct tape, as described by the witness. They also spoke to another witness who stated that this defendant had asked him to come and pick her up. He met her in Cleveland, Texas, where they drove then to Webster and obtained the tote from the storage unit. He took her and dropped her off at the motel, and then he is the one who reported the Crime Stoppers tip. Based on the fact that she was found in Jasper County with other information that was en route to Louisiana per the statements in the motion, the fact that there is ongoing investigation as to the complainant's cause and manner of death, and that additional charges may be filed once that investigation is complete. We are asking for that amount, also based on the fact that she's currently on bond for a felony domestic violence charge against this minor complainant's biological father, who is the one who had reported him missing. I don't have any reason to believe that a personal bond or a lower bond will be reasonable or sufficient to ensure public safety or to ensure her appearance in court, given the evidence of flight.
Mr. Henderson, what's your request with regard to bond?
Judge, I'm requesting a $20,000 bond. First pointing out that Ms. Balboa is presumed innocent at this time, is merely facing allegations. She's been charged with a second-degree felony all at this point. They lack evidence to charge her with anything. Ms. Balboa expected not to flee from prosecution while on a bond. She's never been convicted of any violent offense and has no felony convictions of any kind. She has strong ties to this area and won't be going anywhere else while on bond. She's 29 years old and hasn't lived anywhere else. She has been living at the same address for over 3 years, which also speaks to her ties to the community. Her family, her mother's going to be able to drive her to her court appearances while finding this allegation while on bond. Like many individuals, she's going through a period of unemployment and has been for the last 2 months now. She was consistently employed for over half a year cleaning homes, which speaks to her ability to show court. So I'm requesting a $20,000 bond for the second-degree felony too.
I have a sworn-to financial affidavit from Ms. Balboa, which reflects she's been living in a house in Houston for 3 years. She's unemployed. She was not booked into jail with any cash on hand, no money in savings or checking. She is currently on bond for assault, family violence, impeding breathing. A condition of that bond is that she not engage in conduct that results in her arrest. She's scoring a no on the new violent criminal activity flag, a 3 out of 6 on the new criminal activity scale, 3 out of 6 on a failure to appear scale. She's an average risk. I do believe she's a flight risk, considering she was in the act of fleeing with this child's body. I'm going to set her bond at $500,000. I am not approving a personal bond. If she is able to post bond, I'm going to order as a condition of any bond that she posts that within 1 day of her release from custody, she get an electronic ankle monitor and she will be under house arrest 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm also going to order she have no unsupervised contact with any child under the age of 17. Anything else?
No, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, as more information becomes available, we learned that Samuel may have died on May 10th. Balboa's roommate is reported to have said that he discovered Samuel bruised and unresponsive on a bed in their apartment on the 10th of May. He and Balboa put the boy's body in a bathtub and left him there for 2 days while they tried to figure out what they were going to do next with the body. Now, it appears, again, that Balboa had taken non-approved custody of the child a month earlier. On May 13th, The roommate went to a nearby Walmart where he bought duct tape and plastic storage box. And in that box, he put the child's body. They wrapped it up in plastic, put it in the box, and sealed it with duct tape. This was confirmed by a recovered receipt from the store. The roommate said that he and Balboa wrapped the child in plastic, put him in the container, and then covered it with a plastic bag and duct tape. They then took the container to a local storage unit where it remained for several more days. On June 1st, the roommate said he was asked by Balboa to pick her up at her apartment in Cleveland, and from there they drove to Webster. They retrieved the tote from the storage unit, and they took Samuel's body and drove to Jasper, where he dropped her off with the body at the Best Western Hotel. He slipped out and he called Crime Stoppers. Now, all indications are that the pair were intending to go to Louisiana, possibly to Alexandria, based on the road that we can see on this map. Well, when police arrived at the Best Western Motel, they spoke with Balboa in the doorway. They described the smell of decomposition coming from the room, and once they gained access, they discovered the boy's body. Well, now that Balboa's in jail and Samuel's been recovered, the question becomes, what's next? It's really important to note that the case is far from being over. Police will continue to uncover information through interviews and forensic examinations. In this case, I think the autopsy is going to be really tricky. Keep in mind that this child was wrapped in plastic, stuffed inside of a plastic tote container, and stored in a Texan storage unit. Outside temperatures during this time were as high as 86 degrees. Now add the stuffiness of the storage unit and the high humidity in the area, and you got a recipe for decomposition. This little tyke's body had become a forensic examiner's worst enemy. Now, unless the medical examiner locates some broken bones, maybe a broken hyoid suggestive of strangulation, or some toxology that supports what happened, a murder charge could be difficult. I believe they're still going to be able to recover and see tissue damage, and I think they'll be able to see bruising. And that, coupled with eyewitness accounts provided by the roommate, should be pretty compelling. Now, from there, police are going to need to lean on behavioral evidence, including previous aggravated assaults by Balboa, who, you remember, is charged with choking Samuel's father. This is going to be an interesting whodunit to piece together. Well, using this map from our friends at Esri, along with some really nice 3D imagery from our partners at NearMap, I wanted to retrace the locations involved in this case to help you understand the area geographically. Let's go back in time. Remember, 5-year-old Samuel was last seen alive on April 30th, 2021, as he left classes at Holbrook Elementary School. For some unknown reason, he was placed into the care of Teresa Ray Balboa, Samuel's dad's girlfriend. She's not the legal guardian. Approximately 11 days pass by, and it's believed that Samuel dies sometime around the 10th of May while in the custody of Balboa at her Webster apartment. 2 to 3 days later, Balboa enlists the help of a roommate who travels over to the nearby Walmart and purchases a plastic tote, plastic coverings, and duct tape. The pair then place the deceased child in the tote and seal it, and from there, they drive over to another nearby storage unit off of US 3, where they place the child's body in a hot storage unit for another 2 weeks. On May 27th, Balboa calls police from Samuel's grandmother's home, apparently because it's where he's supposed to be residing, and she reports that Samuel's mother, Sarah, accompanied by a uniformed police officer, took custody of the child at 7:30 in the morning. Searching begins then and over the next couple of days. On May 30th or June 1st, Balboa asks an unidentified man to pick her up at her apartment and drive her over to the storage unit where they retrieve the tote with Samuel's body in it, and then drive to Jasper, Texas, where they stopped for the night at a Best Western motel. They check into room 106, and it's there that the police discover the child's body and take Balboa into custody. All indications are that Balboa planned on fleeing to Louisiana. I hope this map helps. And again, thanks to my friends at NearMap for allowing me to access their imagery. Now, there are so many questions in this case that we're gonna have to patiently wait for answers on. Questions surrounding the month-long wait in which Samuel's not accounted for. What were the arrangements for visitation for Sam's mother and his father? Why didn't they call in a month's time? Why did Teresa Ray Balboa have unauthorized guardianship and access to the child for such a long time? Where were Samuel's legal guardians? I mean, come on, where were they during this 4-week period of time? How does this little boy just disappear for a month and nobody's asking questions until May 27th? Now, every news report remarks that Sam's father, Dalton, is not a suspect in the case, but I'm concerned. Why is he suddenly concerned on May 27th if he hasn't seen the child for a month? This is a real interesting whodunit, and I look forward to your comments below, and I want to compliment the roommate who had the courage to step forward rather than go along with something that he was already too deeply involved with. It's a really good reminder to all of us that if we know something about an unsolved crime, we need to reach out to police immediately. There is so much at stake and so many hearts aching in these kinds of cases. I hope that you'll take a moment, hit the like and the subscribe button, and ring the bell. And thanks for your support of Profiling Evil. We'll see you at the next crime scene.